So this is the final recording. First, I will say some final words on chapter 11 and then on the whole course on everything. In chapter 11, we saw all kind of applications of fundamental deviation from the classical model, like preference reversal, also framing, other things. And they are extensively used to manipulate people, in fact, for good or for bad sometimes. And they are much used in the marketing, for instance. They were a bit different in nature than the other chapters of application. They were less quantitative. They were more qualitative, maybe vaguer, and maybe more the domain of marketing and psychology than of economics. But if they are not behavioral economics, they are adjacent, so still good to know a bit about it. Now, one more point before the final conclusion, and that is I already said on previous occasions that the behavioral approach requires more psychological insights, also more advanced mathematics. But there's one more improvement that is driven by the behavioral approach. That is, behavioral approach asks for more experiments, also at the micro level. Until 30 years ago, economics was quite an armchair discipline. People speculated, took things for granted. But now we know we have to look better. This Mr. Stock is a book is not, it's Mr. Homo Simpson. We have to investigate all the things he does. So many more experiment nowadays, many experimental papers in economics. So in that sense, economics has followed psychology, but also the economic discipline has its own requirements. So other specification requirements for experiments have been formulated, and experimental economics brought big improvements in that regard. So that's another impact of the behavioral insights, not only more psychology and mathematics, but also more experiments. Now, the final conclusion of what I have presented in all these recordings, meetings. So behavioral economics tries to be more realistic by bringing in Homo sapiens rather than Homo economicus. And I tried to be in this presentation to be broad, so I couldn't be deep. I hope that you got the sense that in every field in economics, the behavioral approach brings new insights. And I don't know what specializations the listeners have, maybe some work in labor, organization, whatever, but everywhere behavioral insights have better empirical performance, so improvements possible. But what I like in particular, that it's also for your own private decisions. Like in behavioral, you see the discrepancy between normative and descriptive. That's my main interest in this behavioral approach. Then you see there are all kind of instincts in you and me, also in ourselves, that are maybe not so good, that can be improved. And like people, often they are too risk averse. People are too afraid for taking risk. So I like in particular that with the behavioral approach also I could improve my own decisions, have a better life. So then maybe it may be a bit exaggerated conclusion that with behavior you have a better life, but a bit it's true. So with that happy conclusion, I conclude my presentations.